Yeah, here with my man Silky. Thank you for coming, Silks. Yeah.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
It's good. No, listen, it's a pleasure. All pleasure's all ours. Yeah. So it's great to have you on. Here to discuss obviously sports and life after sports and men's mental health and just see how we're getting on. I know that you're obviously back from Dubai. How did you find Dubai?
Yeah, it was. It's a great place, but the greatest place is home.
Of course.
Yeah, I'm enjoying being back and getting. I actually, when I came back, I was praying the weather was going to be really bad. I just wanted to feel rain on my forehead.
Yeah. It's like that when you go to Dubai. When you're out there, it's like. Do you know what I feel like Dubai is like? Do you know when you open the oven door?
Yeah.
And there's that heat.
Yeah.
Because I've been a few times. I only can manage weekends there, but the heat's very similar to when you open the oven door for anyone that hasn't been. It's very much the same. Yeah. So you need a lot of aircon. Yeah. So you do pray for.
Praying for a bit of cold weather, but it's made up for it. Past few days. So that's what I was dying for.
That's Sheffield weather. Good Sheffield weather.
Good Sheffield weather. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. So in Dubai, obviously you was training and personal training and doing your boxing training.
Yeah.
How did you find it out there training in the heat?
Well, I was, a lot of the times I was indoors, but I did train a lot of people outdoors.
Yeah.
All the way through last summer, and it was kind of a task for me to get my head around, just achieve really that I could do it in that kind of weather.
Oh,
which
excellent!
I did,
Excellent.
There's about the clients.
Oh, yeah, brilliant! Did the body climatise or anything, or did you?
Yeah, climatised. Yeah, I was really used to the weather and got used to it.
Really, superb! Really yeah. I went to a great gym in Dubai. I tell you which one it was. It was the UFC one where you train on the rooftop. I don't know if you've ever been to that one.
Not been to that.
It's just off Jumeirah Beach. It's like a UFC. Oh, it's brilliant on the rooftop overlooking.
Great facilities.
Oh, the facilities are fantastic. Yeah. I think there was a bit of a few Instagram poses there. Like all the cameras up there, all the influencers were there. You know what I mean? It was one of them gyms. Yeah. There was a few faces there. You know what I mean? But it was a cool gym. Yeah. It really was. So good to be home. Good to be home. Yeah.
To be back.
Doing what you're doing out there, training out here. So if anyone wants any sessions with Silky, get in touch. He's on Instagram. So get in touch. I've had a session with him, 60 seconds, and you tell him what you tell him.
Last long.
Didn't last long at all, did I? No. Yeah, it was really demanding, but it just shows you because the weights that we were doing were really low.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Low weights, and
it was just the way you use them rather than how heavy it is and what size you can put on. This was like endurance muscle training. So it was good. It was good that you was brave to try.
Do you know what? And I will train again with you because I really enjoyed that 60 seconds because it did push I'm a big trainer, but the reason we're obviously here, Silky, is to spend time with you, and it's a pleasure to be on, but it's to discuss obviously about men's mental health and men having purpose and sportsmen really after they've finished playing football and playing boxing.
Don't play boxing.
Don't play boxing. Boxing's not a play, is it? I had to stop myself then. It's not. Boxing's not a playing. When you're boxing.
There's no games.
No games. As I can see with the hands
football,
there. You play football.
We play badminton. Play tennis. We don't play boxing.
That's it. I like that. I can see with the hands there with the injuries. There's some serious injuries there. Silky.
It's a toolkit. I broke my hand like 5 times. The head is the hardest place, and when you're hitting the head.
The right hand looks like it's
breakdown.
The right hand looks like it's took some damage there.
The calcium deposit on it is just like having a scar. So
So was you a left-handed?
No, I was ambidextrous. I became ambidextrous, but I actually started off as an orthodox fighter. So leading with your left and landing the big right.
I tell you what, I won't want one of them on the end of my chin. Would you?
We'll see how it goes.
So we're talking about the training. Obviously, me being a footballer, an ex-footballer, I think it's massive. Still training. I train still now. I suffered mentally after I played football. I felt like I didn't know where I belonged. I felt like I was finished playing football. I felt like I was a bit lost. So the training kept me mentally. It's focused. I felt like I had purpose. I train harder, and I train harder now than I did when I played pro football and semi-pro football. And I train mainly more for my mental state. I have to train first thing in the morning. First thing I do, I wake up, brush my teeth, train, and I have to train because it's like a personal win. If that makes sense.
I think we look at obviously, when you finish from a sporting background like yourself and like myself. But really, now we recognise what mental health is and was. I suffered way before I retired. When you haven't got control over your life and others have control.
Of course, yeah.
I had some very dark days.
And back then as well, Silky, it wasn't a big thing then. People just started to jump on and help, and there's help then. But I can imagine then, what was it when you retired? What year was it?
But I retired 2000. 2002, sorry.
2002, which was a few years ago. So mental health was but
if we look back before that, and we look back, I turned professional in 1986, and in between that time and 2002, had some very dark times.
Yeah.
Before I retired, I took depression into the boxing ring. There was a lot, and you've got no control over your career. People have control over.
Did you
your
know
career.
it was depression then, or did you think it was?
Didn't know what it was, but I knew I was having dark days. I was like in bed, couldn't get out of bed for periods.
Yeah.
I went into fights where, you're like just daydreaming.
Yeah.
Because you're not focused. You've got to be focused.
I can relate to that. I've been there at training days where when you just don't feel it some days, and you're looking at the clock thinking, I want to get out, I want to go home.
That's right. And you're in a game or a boxing fight, and if you're having a bad game or a bad boxing fight, you can hear everything people are saying.
Oh, I've been there.
But when you're focused, you should be, you're not going to hear anything.
Yeah.
You can, your mind takes you. Mind's strong, and it takes you through the game or through the fight. So I had some dark days, and like I said, in fights I switch off because I'm focusing on problems outside the ring. And later on, it was after retirement. You're not don't forget, we're as schoolboys. You were playing football. I was boxing, and people are playing tennis or whatever level they get to. So what you don't do is you're not really skilled in spending or earning money.
Of course,
So you finish.
I can relate to that as well.
You're a young guy and you finish your game at a young age, and all of a sudden nobody's got any use for you.
Of course, the phone don't ring.
The phone's not going to ring. I remember the first week I retired. Don't get me wrong, I retired about 11 times. But the first week I retired, I remember thinking all these offers I'd had from people. When your career's over, we'll look out for you, this and that, and we've got this, and we can bring you into this, and we can work with us. And then you start phoning people up, and then all of a sudden they stop answering your calls when they think you want something. But obviously that's down to education we should have.
Of course,
we don't get that as sports people. We don't get the education about finishing.
I agree.
Back in my days in professional boxing, if I went to the doctor and I said I'm depressed or anything like that, then that gets reported back to the boxing board.
Is that what it was?
I'm getting my license taken off me.
You're joking?
If I'm not mentally fit enough to be, obviously it's going to protect me.
Yeah, of course,
But, so any kind of depression or anything like that, I wouldn't report it.
So there was no medical
and I didn't
privacy.
know what it was at
there was
the
no
time.
medical privacy then to keep.
I mean, you want someone to speak to and say, listen, I'm in bed all day. I can't get out.
How did you train? Did you manage to train during that period?
I've trained when I've been down. And days have been dark. And like we said, you go through the motions. You feel like you go through the motions. You feel like you're going through the motions. You kind of switched off, but you're just going through the motions. You're not focused.
Did you feel better after you trained? After you pushed yourself? Did it help slightly?
There was a release. But, But if you're really down, nothing's going to pick you up.
I found when I went through a period of feeling, and I couldn't put my finger on it. I felt like I had no purpose. That's what my whole thing was.
You need focus.
You do. I felt like I had no purpose. And listen, people used to look at me and think, God, you've got this, you've got that. And I says, well, it ain't about that. I just,
Yeah.
even when I spoke to people, there was obviously, when I was younger, there was that mentality, man up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. You didn't discuss it, and you don't. And I mean, I'm not one of those. I'm a private person.
Yes.
And I'm not one of those who'll go around and want to be, spokesman.
Of course,
but obviously there's people coming up after us, so we've got to speak out and help anyone we can by our experiences as sports people.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, obviously it goes really deep. So like, I think for me, if I'm honest, it was after I retired, it started getting really bad.
Right.
And 2016 was a bad time for me.
Right, was it?
And I couldn't see a way out.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I contemplated ending it. It was just really, really bad. I couldn't see any way out.
A lot of boxers that I obviously know and speak to, there's a lot of boxers that have gone through similar things, and they're seen to be masculine. You guys are warriors. You really are. You get to get into a ring and to go into combat with another man takes some. I'm telling you, it really does. It really does. Even into a non-professional fight, even into a sparring match, it takes some kind of fortitude to get into a ring with someone. So when people would obviously look at someone like yourself and think, how can someone like yourself go through that? So the average man going through this.
I think, when it comes to sport and a lot of other things, what rely on the mind, not just the body.
Yes.
So you've got to have that mind strength. So then because you have a strong mentality, people don't think there's any weaknesses, but there's a lot of weaknesses.
Of course.
And insecurities.
Of course. Massive insecurities as well.
There's a lot. Just human beings, really.
Yeah,
so,
of course, yeah.
Because you're a gladiator or whatever sport you're involved in doesn't mean you're not like anybody else.
Yeah, of course. I'll tell you what I struggled with, Silky. I don't know if you can relate to this. I'd go into my own family environment at the time. My partner at the time, my children would look at me and I'd have to put this mask on. And I wore a mask for a time around my family, around people I knew, because people see me personally as well as being bubbly and bright, and I felt like I was putting a mask on every day. So I'd see people and put a mask on, and as soon as they'd walk off, I could let the mask down, and the emotions were like, I felt like I was an actor half the time. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand, because that's the problem. Because around your family, that's where we're allowed to let it slip and show the real you.
Of course.
And then we feel like when we're outside, we can't do that. But I can understand that.
Yeah. But to have the purpose, how did you recover and get yourself?
Because reinventing yourself.
That's it.
Reinventing myself and trying to focus on getting up. Standing up. That was
the strength that you need.
And then once I could get up, and then the next thing is exercise. Getting back into it, because put it this way: when I retired, I could smell the gym when I walked in. I didn't want nothing to do with it. But when I wasn't training, my mental health was, which we now know is mental health. I was just feeling down. But that was suffering because I wasn't training, and I put a lot of weight on because I didn't want to go near I didn't want to go near a gym.
Do you think it's a vicious cycle as well? Because you were at the peak at your powers. I felt like I was super fit at 28. Felt like I was in my prime. But I've trained harder as I've retired. And I feel fitter and better now. I feel a bit heavier. I feel more. I feel better, heavier.
I think that's down to a lot. It's down to maturity. You're thinking differently.
Of course.
And you're realising, don't forget, when we're doing like careers in sport, we always get told this is not going to be forever. And we think it is going to be forever.
You do. You think it's going to be forever. You think the wages are going to be there forever. You think when I was young and when I played locally and I could go in Sheffield, I could pick up the phone, I'm going out in a nightclub, I'd get a VIP guest list, you know what I mean? I never knew what queuing up in a nightclub used to be, and I never played at a big level. I played in lower leagues, but I could pick up the phone because I knew someone. Nightclub owner, let me in, no problem, and you'd see the rest of the footballers in there, VIP tables. I didn't know what queuing up for a nightclub was, and I'm not trying to sound out like I'm a Premier League footballer because I won at all. But
but you enjoyed the trappings.
You enjoyed the you enjoyed the you do
of your success. But and then all of a sudden
it stops. It stops.
And like what we've got to realise is, especially in sporting careers, this is over very quickly. It's a small window.
Yeah, of course.
We think it's going to last forever. It's not. But like I said a bit earlier on, we need the education. We need to be, guided before when we retire. But there's not. We usually celebrate or are celebrated at the time, but we're not really advised and educated about when it's over.
Of course,
And like I said, I don't think there's enough for us. What's catered for the mental health side of things. So it's a bit of a pity.
What age was you when you become champion?
I became international champion at say 28, and then I was world champion at 29. But
that's a great achievement, superb achievement. It really is.
It was a lot of heartache getting to that. So
Was you feeling all right mentally then at that stage, at the peak?
I'd gone through because I actually retired at 26.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I retired at 26, and I was devastated because I believed I could be a world champion, and I was often I was told I probably wouldn't be a world champion, so I retired thinking, believing what they were saying. And the fight before I retired was a fight I was expected to win, but like I spoke about switching off in fights, I switched off and lost the fight. And I made sure I retired.
Right.
Kind of a punishment to myself. But I decided that at 28, I thought
to pick yourself up, to dust yourself down, to go again. That's just obviously a credit. That's a credit. That's a credit to yourself, and to become champion. That's some Rocky. That's some Rocky Balboa.
I know the journey now. And I understand what happened. By the time I didn't. And you're very emotionally involved in it. So I retired at 28, and at 26, I told myself, if I don't come back, one day I'll be talking to somebody and I'll say, I could have been a champion. And they'll say, but you wasn't. So I made sure that I did what I had to do to get back. Luckily, I got back and became champion.
What a fantastic legacy. Superb legacy that is. So going back to the purpose side, and what you're doing now then for purpose, what you're doing now for training, what you're doing now. I know you're doing your personal training, that's going well. I understand you've got a book coming out, which I'm looking forward to reading myself.
I've got a book coming out, and I think a lot of people will understand me even more. When that's we're just going through the editing part of it, and then hopefully it's going to be out early next year. So I'm doing that, and then I'm just starting a company up with my son, and it's about gut health. So we're going to be, promoting gut health.
Brilliant.
And also it's to do with the mind. What you eat is what you are. And
of course,
so I'm
massive into that. Health is the real wealth. I'm massive on that as well. Gut health. I think that's one of your brains, isn't it?
That's right.
Your second brain, your gut. So I'll be coming to you now. I didn't even know that.
So I'll be pushing that and promoting that around very shortly. But
superb. Well, just going back to when you were saying that you was feeling quite low on your boxing days, and you were taking that into the ring. Obviously, being a boxer, me being a footballer at the time, when I went into matches feeling low sometimes and not feeling it. I remember an incident. I'll just tell you quickly. When I was playing at Lincoln City, and there's one big massive stand. That's where all the fans sit. I went to control the ball. I know you're not a footballer, Silks, but the ball ran under my foot, and the whole, like you say, when it's not going well, you hear everything. And when I think there was about 2,000 fans behind me in this stand, 3,000 maybe went, oh. When 3,000 people say that, it's noisy. And every time I didn't want the ball after that. I didn't want the ball. I didn't want to go near it. And every time I had a touch, it was coming off me. people were moaning. My number come up, and my home fans cheered me to come off.
Yeah.
And I remember coming off, sitting in the changing rooms, having a shower, feeling so low.
How old would you be?
I'll tell you what, I was about 26 then,
So
and I was
young.
26. I was in the driving home afterwards, listening to the radio in the car with the lads, and there was a show called Praise and Grumble.
I remember,
where fans used to ring up locally.
that's right,
and I remember driving back to Sheffield from Lincoln and getting slated on radio by people, thinking this is great, and I have to and because the way I am, I thought I want to listen to it. It was like painful. I didn't want to turn it over, but the things that people used to say, they used to mention that I don't know how they knew how much money you'd be on. I wasn't worth it. I'm this, I'm that, it just killed your confidence even worse. And then you'd be going home.
I'm never for 1 minute. Obviously, I've watched football. Never thought about that. Having all those fans on your back.
Yeah.
And like when you do something great,
when it's going great, it's great. Yeah.
But I didn't realise you'd. Yeah. But obviously, I can see
the club's done really well. Every club does well when they get rid of me, because I wasn't the best, but it was, like I say, it was good fun. And looking back, I'm a lot stronger now. But looking back, it was like 26-year-old is still young, and I had some family problems at the time. And it was very difficult taking that onto the pitch.
Obviously, you carried on playing, and you was able to take that and not run away. Yeah. So it's a good thing that you did that. Yeah. But there's so much pressure, people don't understand.
There is,
there's a lot of pressure.
As I'll get into as well, with me being a footballer, I've got a team, so my team could pull. I think we won that game anyway. Yeah. So I've come off. I've been replaced with someone that's come on, and we've managed to get over the line. We've managed to win. So my performance it's not on me as a boxer, it's just all on you. My team could carry me when I had bad games, and obviously I could carry some when I was playing better. I could carry my teammates. But on yourself, it's not feeling great. It can be a lonely place. It's just you in there. There's no hiding place. And as you say, one bad mistake, you could be on the canvas looking at the lights.
And the problem and the fact is about boxing is if you lose, you're basically one fight away from defeat and retirement. Yeah. But you're 2 fights away from being a champion. Because if you win one fight, your next fight, you can be boxing for a title. Yeah. So 1 fight away from defeat, 2 away from the title.
That's true, yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
So when you was in the ring as well, and you say obviously the concentration wasn't there, did it ever affect any of your boxing matches? The outcome of some of your
100%.
Because I believe it would have done.
Switch off.
Yeah,
I'd switch off, and then all of a sudden, you're getting off the canvas. Yeah. So you can't switch off for an hour. But what happens is your mind's on other things. Yeah, and you're not focused because you got something in your head what's telling you, this is not right, or this fight's not right, or I'm not happy with my purse, and things like that, which you're taking in, which you shouldn't. Like we said, you can be depressed and not know it.
Yeah. I think that's what I can relate to that as well. When you can't even know it,
you don't know it. And especially in those days, we didn't know the symptoms of mental health. Yeah. I mean, I knew the days were dark, and one of the things I used to do is I didn't want to wake up. And when I looked and it was the morning and I saw, obviously, the morning sunlight coming in, I was devastated. The happiest I was at night when it was dark. It gave me an excuse to hide.
I was the same. I used to love sleeping. I used to love sleeping. I love sleeping. And then and I can relate to that 100%. Yeah.
So you want to use the days to hide, and then the nights to hide. Yeah. You want to use the nights to hide, and the days when you see that sunlight, it's devastating. Yeah. You think, I don't want to get up. Yeah. And for a fact, if you step out of that door and you go walking or you go running, and you feel a lot better.
You do indeed.
It's so hard to get up out of bed.
Yeah. You got to dust yourself down. It's hard. Yeah. And you got to just keep going. Yeah, but it is hard to make that initial first step. But anyone that is suffering from any mental issues, I do urge them to obviously put the trainers on, eat as healthy as they can. I think there's obviously a recipe you can follow to make put yourself in a better state of mind. Yeah. I do believe that.
I think it's finding someone you can speak to.
Yes, I think speaking is massive.
When you speak to somebody, and they can, and you can basically have a brainstorm about getting help. And, you know, where to go and who might be the best person to speak to, and so I think you know that what you said about exercise is the key. Yeah. But if you can't exercise, speak to someone.
Yeah, I know everyone's different. For me, I wake up in the morning. I still do now. I follow in the morning I train. It's a win. I tick it off.
It is.
I've started having cold showers. Everyone thinks I'm nuts because I shower at work, so everyone sees me shower at work and they see me shower. I shower outside with a garden hose.
It's having that routine.
It's right, but when I've done my cold shower, because I don't want to do it, but I do it. But when I've done it, I feel good. It's a win.
And
so
it's
these small wins,
and
it's all for me, and it's the start of the day. And then I'm ready to. And I have up and down days with work. Some days are great, and some days are fast and furious and busy. But I've got a different purpose. I'm no longer in sports, which is a good thing because I found a different avenue, and it's been good for me. So I've been very lucky in that aspect.
Not everybody is,
and not everyone is, so, and I'm really appreciative that I'm personally in a position where that I've got purpose and what have you. Yeah,
and that's the main thing.
And it is, and I do urge anyone that's suffering to obviously always speak.
Yeah.
But this is what's helped me, and I think if it helps me, I'm sure the exercise, the speaking to people, and just being open and honest, and don't feel ashamed, because as men we want to be masculine, we want to be heroic, and sometimes it's being heroic.
The old generation.
The old generation.
Now we're moving forward, and we think and we talk about things. Which we need to.
Of course. I think men as well. Us being men, we carry a lot of. We're going to the family home with the breadwinner.
That's
not
right,
always. I'm just saying. Obviously, in a lot of cases, the man's the. Not always. This is obviously the provider. So there's a lot of pressure on that for a man. That was in my situation. I know it's not in all cases, but it's a lot of pressures. There's a lot of responsibilities, and it's a nice responsibility. But if not all men can achieve what they have to achieve weekly, monthly, it can get a dark place. It can.
And I think for me, a lot of it was down to ambition.
Yes,
I had that burning desire.
Yes,
and I set these goals. And they didn't. Sometimes they didn't happen. And I really pushed and was devastated when they didn't happen. And then they happen, and you go on to another goal.
Yes, of course.
Ambition's a hard thing.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, Silks, it's been great speaking to you. I've loved it.
It's been a pleasure.
As I say, Silky's book's coming out. Look out for it. It's going to be a great read. I'll have one, and I'm sure if you hit the link below, we can arrange a private signing, and we can have a day when Silky can bring some books in, and we can do a live signing. How's that sound? Yeah, Silky, top man. Pleasure. God bless you. Thank you very much.
God bless you.
Brilliant.
Yeah, brilliant. How's that sound? Ended well.
Yeah.
I want a book though, Silks, and I need you to sign it, brother.